Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we're going to be doing our budget results for the month of April. We're going to go ahead and also do our weekly check-in for the last week of April as well. And then we'll go ahead and close out the whole entire month's expenses. So let's go ahead and actually get into it. I already have the expenses all filled up here, so we'll go ahead and just run through these. And if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you're not, then you guys already probably know how I usually do things. If you are new, I do have a video that I will put in the description that explains why we don't use cash, because we are cashless budgeters. We don't use any debit cards or any cash. We strictly use credit cards. So I'll link that video below that explains why, as well as the apps that we use to help us budget, and also how our bank accounts are set up. So hopefully, if anything that I'm about to do seems a little confusing, hopefully that will for sure help clear anything up. But let me go ahead and pop into the app that I use. So the app that I use is the daily budget app. I'm going to go ahead and come in here. We are going to be checking in from the 24th to the 30th. So I'll go ahead and scroll to the 24th. And as you see, there was a lot of transactions that we did on Sunday. So let's go ahead and start logging it in. So the first one we have here is going to be for gas. And gas is this green color here, this soft green color. We definitely spent gas a bunch more times, unfortunately, so it's okay. Next month, I did bump up our gas budget a little bit higher, so hopefully it's enough. But I have a feeling for next month, we might not have enough budgeted for gas again, but I'm hoping we might have enough. We'll see. If anything, for June, we can just adjust the budget again accordingly. We have never spent so much money on gas this month. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of green all over the place. But it's okay. It happens. Okay, so going back to our check-in. So we spent gas for $43. We also had a grocery expense. Grocery is this little grocery cart at Target. And the tracker color is this light blue color. And we went to Target and got some snacks, or I don't actually remember what we got, but it equaled to $29. So that is for that expense. We also had a sinking fund transaction here for medical, so I will definitely come back to that. The sinking fund transaction, I have it as a little house icon, and sinking funds are not logged here. They're logged in my sinking fund spread. We'll come back to that in a second. Next, we have these little paws here for pups. So we have two transactions for pups, one for Chewies for $17, and then the second one we got some pill treats for $12. Because Nala, our German Shepherd, she's been having a lot of allergies ever since we moved to where we are now. So we had to take her to the vet to see if there was anything that we could do. And they recommended to have her take Benadryl. But she doesn't like taking any medicine. So we tried to pick up these pill treats to see if it'll be easier instead of always using peanut butter. So we will find out. That is the pill treats. And then we also have two more additional sinking funds here. One is for pups medical, one is for pups food. So I will come back to these as well. Next, we have Costco. We got more groceries from Costco. We got some fruits at Costco here. We spent $27. And then we also have one more transaction. We got Little Caesars for $15. So Little Caesars is this little fork and knife. So that is from our eating out category. I did not realize that we spent so much for this day. So I'm actually going to go ahead and combine both of these together. So I don't have an extra sticker that doesn't fit. I don't know if this is definitely doing too much or not. But I usually never have this many transactions. I want to make them fit. So that's what I'm going to do for that. So I do have pill treats and Chewies combined together. So this is now $29. And then I'm going to go ahead and put Little Caesars from the food category over here. That'll be the $15. So those are all the expenses for Sunday. Now let's go ahead and check in those three sinking funds. So for the sinking funds, let's go ahead and turn over to our sinking fund spread. So over here is our sinking funds. You'll see here that I already wrote them down. So we have medical for the 24th for $59 for fish oil and Zyrtec. We ended up getting more Zyrtec. I don't know if you guys can see here, we got Zyrtec earlier in the month, but we used it, so we ended up just picking up another one. So that is Zyrtec. We also got Pups Medical for Frontline, that was $79, and then Pups Food for Bully Sticks, and that was $38. So $30 for Bully Sticks as well. So those three are already put in here for the 24th. So let's go ahead and move forward. Alrighty, so coming back here, we have the 25th. 25th, we did not have any expenses this day. And then we also have the 26th where we spent $25 on IHOP. And I've been obsessed with IHOP lately. I keep wanting to eat pancakes and home fries. But that was the 26th for our pancakes. The 27th, we have another sinking fund only, it looks like. It looks like it was for car maintenance for filters for $33. So let's check that real quick. Looks like we already have it written down for car maintenance for $33 for filters. So that one is good as well. So that was the 27th and nothing else was spent. Then we have Thursday the 28th. Looks like we have a grocery category for Walmart. And then we also got more gas this day for $44. So let's do the grocery category first. This one was $3. I believe I ended up just getting some frozen home fries because I kept wanting to eat home fries. But I had Dustin pick that up for me on the 28th. And then we also had more gas. Gas was $44. So we also spent for gas again this day. And then nothing else was spent on the 28th. The 29th, we did not spend anything either. And on the 30th, we also got gas again. This day, we went to go see Dustin's mom in Harrisburg. We had to drop off a camera for his little brother. So we ended up just hanging out with her this day and also spending or celebrating Mother's Day in a sense too. So we didn't have to make the trip again next week. We will be seeing her again in a couple more weeks. So we'll be back for sure. But that was gas. Gas was $30. Then we also have two sinking fund categories here, which we will check in a second. And then our last one was for Starbucks. Dustin refilled it for $25 so he could treat them to Starbucks. So that was $25 from our eating out category, which is the fork and knife. Going back, let's go ahead and look at the two sinking funds. So it looks like we had two categories. One was for clothes. This was for $100. I ended up getting some really comfy shoes because I don't have any comfy shoes. All of our shoes are pretty cheap. But my feet have been hurting and my back has been hurting. So we ended up investing in a couple pairs of shoes for me so that are super, super comfortable. So I'm really happy with that. And then the second sinking funds, this one is from Gifts and Treating. For Gifts and Treating, we did spend $79 to buy Dustin's mom some shoes as well for Mother's Day. So that was also logged, and that is gonna be it for this phone application that I need. So that one is now done, and all of our expenses are down as well. So let's go ahead and put down the no spend stickers. Dustin did also get paid on the 27th, so I'm gonna just use one of the scripts that I just have in my shop to mark that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put down these no spend stickers. This colorway is from the colorway that I had in December of last year, but I will be coming out with, of course, more neutral colorways so they match everything, because this was the colorway for the December kit, and I don't have any colors yet as of right now, so that's kind of where those came from. So now this is all checked in for the previous week. I'm gonna go ahead and put my key back in here as well. So that is up there. Now let's go ahead and check in, and it looks like it definitely is a habit. I didn't really have it in mind, but it looks like, again, we did not spend any day for Wednesday and any of the Fridays either, which is very interesting to me. So that's kind of cool to see visually. Okay, let's go ahead and do our check-in real quick. We're gonna go ahead and do our weekly check-in. And then as usually, I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of the colors. I'm thinking, I used this the first week, second week, third week. I think I'm gonna go back to this medium purple for this last week. We're gonna check in for eating out first. So for eating out, this is our pink category here. We have two transactions, one for Starbucks, which is $25. And then we have another one for IHOP, which is another $25. Oh, and then we also have one for Little Caesars. Little Caesars was $15. So that means we've spent a total of $65 for eating out. And that also means we're in a negative because last week we had $37 and this week we spent $65. So this is a negative amount of $28. I still do not know where my red pen is, so I'm going to just use this fine tip marker, and these are from Erin Condren as well. So it looks like we have a negative of $28 for our eating out category. And then for groceries is the light blue color. For groceries, it looks like we have a few expenses too. So we have one here for $3 at Walmart. And then we have a couple more on this side. One for $27 for Costco fruits, and then one for $29 at Target. That means we spent a total of $58. Oops, sorry, not 58, $59 for groceries. And then last week we had a remaining amount of $107. That minus the 59 means we have $48 left over. So we have $48 left over for groceries. Next is gas. Last week we were already negative in gas, and this week we already spent gas 3 more times this week. So we are super negative. So we have one gas expense over here for $30. Then we have another one over on this side for $44. And then our third one over here for $43. And this in total means we spent $117 on gas this last week, which is insane. Being negative $27 plus an additional $117, we are for sure negative $144 in our gas category. And we would never spent so much money on gas in 1 month. This month we've been traveling a lot, but also Dustin's been going to office quite often, and just the 2 hours commute a few days a week really does take a toll on our gas expenses. So I might really have to rebudget this. I'm not really sure, but yes, this is a lot. So let's go ahead and just move forward. For allowance is our violet color. We don't have any of those expenses for this week. So this, we can say that we spent none. So we'll put a 0. That means for allowance, we still have $23. And then for pups and date category, date was this periwinkle color. There is no periwinkle colors for this week either. So the only ones that we have was for pups, which is this yellow one. And this yellow one, we spent $29 for pups. So we spent $29. Previous week, we had $66. That minus the 29 means we have $37 left over. And this is also our pups and date category combined. So I'm going to go ahead and budget that out. Next month, I will not be combining categories anymore. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you guys will know that I did not like having the date category. I like to have just my basic 5 categories every single month, and they never really change, but that's okay. But let's go ahead and do our weekly balance to balance out our checking account. So for the checking account, we're going to be balancing out our second checking, the one that holds our monthly budget, our bills, and our sinking fund. And then I'm going to go ahead and put another sticky note here so we can write down what this new amount is. Last week I forgot to update it, but the checking account ended last week with $4,038 because this holds our bills, monthly budget, and sinking funds amounts. So let's go ahead and see how much is in here. And if you guys are curious about how our accounts are set up and what the purpose is of each individual account, I will have that video linked below that goes in depth for these if you have any questions or curiosities. So I went ahead and just wrote down the categories and also what we ended the week with last week, which means what we're starting the week with this week. Let's go ahead and do our bills category first. So for bills, the only bills that did not come out yet were the internet, Spotify, and Disney. And all 3 of these are from our credit cards. So I'm going to go ahead and check our credit card transaction for this last week from the 24th to the 30th, just to make sure everything looks good, and also to look for those bills that came out. And all 3 of these did come out this last week, so I'm going to go ahead and check them off, and I'm going to go ahead and add those up. So the total for the internet, $79.99, plus the Spotify for $10.59, and Disney $21.19. That equals to $111.77 for our bills that came out this last week, and those are all of our bills for the month. They are finally done with. So that means last week we had a leftover amount of $153.38 for bills. That minus the $111.77 that came out for bills, we still have a leftover amount of $41.61, which is really good. We never want to not have enough money for our bills, so that is a good sign. Next, let's go ahead and do our monthly budget. For our monthly budget categories are these eating out, grocery, gas, these categories that we just tracked in our monthly balance. So in total for this week, we spent 65 plus 59 plus 117 plus 29. That in total means we spent $270 this week, which is still crazy to me that $117 of it was to gas. So this for sure is going to be a negative amount because last week we had $206 left over for the month. This week we spent $270. So 206 minus 270, that is a negative amount of $64. Next is our sinking funds, and we definitely spent a lot in our sinking funds as well. So we started from the 24th. I'm going to go ahead and add up all of these here, starting from the 59 all the way down to the 79 here. So in total for our sinking funds, we spent $388. And then I just like to check it off for like a visual thing for me. We spent $388 for sinking funds. Last week in our sinking funds, we had $3,641. That minus the $388 means we have a leftover amount of $3,253 in our sinking funds. First, I'm going to go ahead and transfer over these amounts. As always, for the monthly budget and for sinking funds, everything that comes out of the monthly budget and sinking funds, we pay with our credit card. So for these, for sure, I'm going to go ahead and transfer it from our second checking account to our primary checking account, which is going to pay our credit card. So in total, $270 plus $388. I'm going to go ahead and transfer over $658 from our second checking to our primary checking. And then the last one is for our bills. So for bills, I only have to transfer the ones that come out of credit card because the ones that come out of our checking account are already taken out of our checking account. For all three of these, internet, Spotify, and Disney, the ones that came out this week, all three of these were from our credit card, which means I'm going to transfer the full amount, $111.77. Since none of them were taken out of our checking account, they're all paid from our credit card. We are going to need to transfer the money over from our second checking account to pay for those expenses. So in total, it looks like what we transferred from our second checking account to our primary checking account is $769.77. So that is the total that we transferred. That is all three of these added together. And again, because bills, every single one of those bills came out of our credit card and not directly from the checking account. So last week in the second checking account, we had $4,038. After the transfer of all of these amounts to our primary checking, the total that we should have in our second checking account is $3,230.65. And that is indeed the correct amount that is in this checking account as of right now. So this checking account is balanced out. And we can also do the math here real quick as well. So 4161 minus the 64 plus the 3253. That is a total of $3,358.61. If you notice, it's actually a few cents off. So it's 4 cents off. I forgot that we got interest on this account. So we got 4 cents in interest. But so let me actually correct that real quick, just so it doesn't confuse you guys, because I kind of ignore the interest. So that is the amount. They match. But that is going to be it for the weekly balance. And now our account is all balanced out. So now let's go ahead and move forward with closing out our budget. So the first thing is, let's go ahead and calculate all of our transactions for our sinking funds. So the first thing is for Sandy's loan, we did not have any transactions for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dash here. For car insurance, our car insurance did come out. That was $509. So $509 came out. And then I'm going to go ahead and check this off for car insurance. I'm very visual with it, so I really like to put checks on it. I just don't want to miss something, so I want to make sure that I have a double check on every single one. But that's kind of how I balance out my transaction log, just to make sure I don't miss anything. Next is sewer and water. For sewer and water, sewer did come out. It was $123. So I'm going to write that here. I think for next month, I'm going to switch these two. So transaction log is going to be on this side and sinking funds is going to be on this side. It's just easier to close out the budget at the end of the month. But for Christmas, we did not have any expenses. For Pups Medical, we do have one expense here. That was for $79. And then we also have one for medical as well. We have two for medical. So medical over here for $30. And then another medical expense over here for $59. That is a total of $89. For medical, for car maintenance, it looks like we have two transactions for car maintenance. Oh, we have three transactions for car maintenance. The first one was $260. Then we have another $10 expense here. That's $270. And then $270 plus $33 for filters. That is $303 for car maintenance. So $303 for car maintenance. And then we also have a gifts and trading amount. Looks like we just have one down here. That was for $79 for Dustin's mom. And this will have to get bumped up as well next month. Next we have household. It looks like we have two household expenses, one for $8 up here, and then another one for $56 down here. That means we spent a total of $64 for household. And then, I'm sorry for all the flipping, it's just easier to write with the coil. But then we have dates. We did not spend anything for dates over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a dash here. For home, it looks like we did not spend anything for home either, so I'll put a dash here. We will be spending quite a bit because we have to get some garden equipment, so this will probably next month. I'll put a little bit more in here just to make sure we have enough for everything. For clothing, we have one category for clothing for $100. Next is Pups food. So we have a Pups food for $38 over here. And then we have another one up here for $168. And those combined is a total of $206 spent on food. Next is Pups miscellaneous. It does not look like we have a Pups miscellaneous over here, so I'm gonna check that off. Next is Costco. I don't see anything for Costco either. Easy Pass. We do have an Easy Pass category here for $25. And then also entertainment. Nothing for entertainment. Nothing for office. Because the last one we have here is for beauty. So beauty here was $65. And those are all of them checked off. So you guys can see what it'll look like. So it's just easier for my eyeballs because I tend to miss stuff a lot. So that's kind of what I do. So that is a beauty for $65. That was spent. And then nothing for unbudgeted. I'm gonna go ahead and add this up real quick for the total at the bottom. So the total that we spent this month is quite a bit. We spent $1,642, which is crazy because we only added $900 at the beginning. But that is why sinking funds is so helpful. So let's go ahead and calculate out the end amounts for each category. So for Sandy's loan, $1,400 plus $200. That is now $1,600 in a year. After that, we have car insurance. So car insurance, we had $500. We added $90. That minus the $509 means we have a leftover amount of $81. Next is sewer water. We had $275. That minus $123 is $152. Christmas, we didn't touch anything, so $300 plus $20 is $320 in here. For Pups Medical, we had $0 in there. We added $50, and then we spent $79. That means we are negative $29 in here. And then for our medical, we had $250 minus $89 is $161. Car maintenance, we had $375 minus $303 is $72 left over. Gifts and trading, we had $125. That minus the $79 is $46. For household, we had $70. $70 minus $64 is $6 left in household. For dates, we still have $100 in here. For home, we have $150 in here. For clothing, we have $20 in here. For Pups food, $170 plus $20 minus $206. That is a negative $16. For Pups miscellaneous, we have $60 in here. For Costco, we have $70. For Easy Pass, we have $40. $40 minus $15. We have $15 left over in here. Entertainment, we have $65 in here. For office, we have $60. For beauty, we had $100 minus $65. That is $35 left over in here. And then for unbudgeted, we did not have any crazy unbudgeted amounts. I mean, except for gas, but we just went over on gas. It wasn't like an additional different category unexpected expense. So we still have $250 in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and add up all of this amount just to make sure that this final amount is going to equal to our $32.53 that we calculated. Okay, so that took a lot longer than I expected. I'm actually short here by $35, and I couldn't figure out if it was because I don't know how to add. In the end, it is because I don't know how to add, but not for this scenario. But when I initially added the amount for the month, this in total was $865, not $900. So I was $35 short. So to fix this real quick, I'm just gonna put that $35 in our unbudgeted. So instead of $50, I'm gonna change this to $85. And that means in total for this leftover of $250, I'm gonna change it to $285. And then now the total amount is gonna be $32.53. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Again, the reason why is because this was not actually $900 that I added to it. It was $865. So I was $35 short, which is why the total amount that I kept adding up here was $35 short. But I found out why. So I just adjusted it real quick to put $35 and I just threw it in unbudgeted real quick just to make it actually equal $900. So all the numbers actually equal out to $32.53, because if not, the total amount in sinking funds would keep being $35 shorter. But anyway, I hope that wasn't too confusing for that part. So let's go ahead and move on to closing out our budget, because I feel like this video has been a million years long. So lastly, to close out of the budget, I'm going to go ahead and fill these out. I'm going to go ahead and write down the variances over here. Okay, so I did the variances for my bills real quick. For gas, we estimated at $70, but the actual was a lot higher, which means we were in a negative. Utilities, we were under budget, which is really nice. Same with mobile. And then we have our holder account. In total, for bills, we had a leftover of $41.61. And you'll see that matches the $41.61 that we have in our balance. And the actual for our bills for the month was $30.58.39. And I want to write that down in our dashboard right now. I am struggling right now, guys, but that is the total that we spent for bills for the month. For the actual spend amount for the whole entire month of April, we spent $2,633 across sinking funds and our monthly budget. And I got that number from the app here. It's already May, so you can't really see the total, but the total is usually on the balance portion of it for the beginning part. It'll tell you, since the month's already over, I had to go into transactions and go to the calendar part. And I was able to see how much I spent for the month of May. But that's kind of where that came from. And then for savings, I didn't spend anything. And for this savings, I'm talking about my external savings account, not the one that's tied in with our accounts, but their external one. So that looks good. Now let's go ahead and continue balancing out the rest of it. So for these categories here, I'm going to go ahead and just transfer over these amounts over to this category. So in groceries, we have a leftover of $48. For eating out, we went negative $28. For gas, we went negative $144, which is crazy. Allowance, we have a leftover of $23. And then for pups and dates, we have a leftover amount for both of those categories as well. But because I mushed them together, it's a little bit more complicated. Normally, I could go back and just count out the colored expenses, but I also use the multi-budget app, which is another app that I talked about in the other video. But for this app, I also, as I spent throughout the month, these were like the amounts I spent and went negative in. So you'll see for groceries, $48 left over. Eating out was negative $28. Gas was a negative $144. Allowance was $23. Pups was $21 left over. And dates was $16 left over. 16 plus $21. That equals to the $37 that we talked about. So that is why I really like using this app, because these are kind of like my electronic cash envelopes. They're not tied to my account in any way. It's just for me to keep track of. But that, if you're curious about, that is also mentioned in the video that I'll link below. And then let me go ahead and add all of this up here. It should equal to the monthly budget of negative $64 that we balanced out in our weekly balance. But let's go ahead and double check. And yes, the total does equal to negative $64. So we were in the negatives this month. And then I'm going to go ahead and write down the differences. So that means we spent $352 for groceries. We spent $328 for eating out. For gas, we spent $294. $294 for gas for a car for 1 month, which is insane. We spent $77 for allowance, and then we spent $29 for pups. For date, we spent $34. That means in total for this month, we spent $1,114, which means we were negative $64. So that is actually gonna conclude my April budget. This was my first closeout in quite a bit of time, so I'm hoping that I wasn't too much all over the place. I will definitely, when I edit this video, I will for sure see the things that I want to change. But anyway, so that is going to go ahead and conclude this month's closeout. I will probably fill out my variable income and my savings tracker off camera, since those I'm not going to be showing. But I do hope that you guys have an amazing day. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning into my video. And I hope to see you guys on my next one. Bye!